guest of distinction.
I'm so happy.
Oh my God, hello.
Hi, oh my God, so nice.
They reported that Taylor Swift's ability to remain captivating seemed to reach a new height when she and Travis Kelce shocked the internet with the sudden reveal of their engagement. And instead of staging an elaborate red carpet unveiling or crafting a dramatic public scene, the two of them chose to share it in an unexpectedly personal and heartfelt way that made fans feel almost as though they had been invited into an intimate secret, which in turn ignited nonstop conversations across the world, though the announcement itself only marked the beginning, because the days following added even more intrigue when Travis Kelce made his first public appearance since the news became official, and he strode confidently onto the field at Arrowhead Stadium with his older brother Jason Kelce accompanying him, an evening that unfolded into something greater than just another college football game, as it became a portrayal of brotherhood, loyalty, and for the very first time, a glimpse into how Travis would carry himself as a newly engaged man. So the story drew everyone deeper into the combined worlds of Travis and Taylor, where football blended with music, and where each move seemed to hold weight. And people were reminded that Arrowhead had always been sacred ground for Travis since his rookie year in 2013, because it was the stage of his greatest victories and setbacks, and now the early steps of his chapter as fiancé. And on that Thursday night, the crowd buzzed with anticipation. Not merely because the University of Nebraska was facing the University of Cincinnati, but also because the Kelce brothers were present, and Travis, the natural showman, chose a red and white long-sleeve striped Nike shirt that subtly honored the Bearcats, his alma mater, while his wide grin radiated the joy of a man clearly riding a wave of happiness, and beyond his clothes and energy it was the manner in which he moved, spoke, and engaged with his brother, along with his enthusiasm hyping up the Bearcats on the sidelines, that transformed even an ordinary game into something memorable, while Jason arrived with his own style in a black bomber jacket, jean shorts, and construction boots, an appearance that gave him the aura of both a bouncer and a backyard barbecue host, and together their camaraderie was unmistakable, their joking and chatting on the sidelines proving that before the fame they had simply been two Ohio kids who loved the game and each other. But even as that moment stood out, everyone agreed that if the stadium appearance was spectacular, then the engagement announcement itself was on another level, because for weeks beforehand rumors had swirled, fueled by keen-eyed fans spotting matching jewelry, interpreting cryptic lyrics, and observing knowing glances exchanged at games and concerts. So when Travis and Taylor decided to drop the news suddenly on Instagram, it was both expected and shocking, and the post reflected Taylor's characteristic playful awareness when they captioned their carousel with the humorous line, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married," all while setting it to the dreamy strains of her own song, so high school, from the chart-topping album The Tortured Poets Department. And the chosen track acted not only as a playful nod, but also as a melodic love note and soundtrack to the 2 years they had been writing together. And the images showed understated romance with no paparazzi or roaring fans, but only Travis down on one knee in the lush garden of his Leawood, Kansas estate, offering a diamond that gleamed as brightly as Taylor's smile, a ring designed with jeweler Kindred Lubeck in collaboration with Travis himself, which reflected thought and intention. And though the moment seemed monumental because of their celebrity, at its core it was simply two people in love promising each other forever. And insiders revealed that what looked like a spontaneous proposal had in fact been months in planning, with Travis quietly working 6 to 8 months ahead, holding secret meetings with jewelers, late-night calls with family, and a carefully guarded schedule to keep everything hidden, and even friends had been left unaware because he wanted Taylor to be genuinely surprised, an idea confirmed by his father, Ed Kelce, who admitted that the engagement had actually occurred weeks earlier but had been kept private, and that privacy itself was what made the story compelling, since in a time when nearly everything is exposed, Travis and Taylor carved out their own private chapter, revealing their love on their terms, and this move gave fans an unfiltered view of love under fame while briefly stepping behind the curtain. And because of their notoriety, their decision to shield wedding details now seemed bold, with sources explaining that the event would likely be more casual than outsiders might guess, prioritizing authenticity over spectacle with no expectation of a televised broadcast or a guest list filled with Hollywood's elite, but instead an intimate gathering full of laughter, music, and creative personal touches that only Taylor could imagine, which aligned with the way they had always been as a couple, most comfortable during quieter times, sharing jokes at the sidelines. Hugs and lyrics had captivated millions. It was the quieter exchanges, stolen glances at games, whispered talks in crowded places, and the way Travis lit up when Taylor's name was spoken, that truly defined their story, giving it an authenticity that resonated. So when the engagement news broke, speculation began immediately about the future, with questions over whether they would split time between Kansas City and Nashville, whether Taylor's next album would reflect marital joy or explore new themes, whether Travis might finally pursue a reality show, or whether they would retreat from the spotlight to save her private life. But no answers were clear, and that unpredictability made the story even more captivating. And as Arrowhead sunset gave way to lights while the Bearcats played, Travis stood on the sidelines with a future as radiant as the beams above, while fans in the stands cheered not just for football, but also for the man giving them reason to celebrate, and Summer Taylor smiled, knowing this was only the beginning. So though it was easy to focus on headlines, at the core the engagement served as a reminder that real, messy, and surprising love still existed and had the ability to move people and keep the idea of happily ever after alive. And so the world waited for what would come next, certain only that wherever they went, Travis and Taylor would continue keeping everyone guessing and eager for more. And with all the momentum their story carried, fans were reminded here to subscribe so they wouldn't miss the unfolding journey, because what lay ahead promised to be just as extraordinary as what had already been revealed. When nearly everything is exposed, Travis and Taylor carved out their own private chapter, revealing their love on their terms, and this move gave fans an unfiltered view of love under fame while briefly stepping behind the curtain. And because of their notoriety, their decision to shield wedding details now seemed bold, with sources explaining that the event would likely be more casual than outsiders might guess, prioritizing authenticity over spectacle with no expectation of a televised broadcast or a guest list filled with Hollywood's elite, but instead an intimate gathering full of laughter, music, and creative personal touches that only Taylor could imagine.